Right. So we have called friction in for inquiry, and please, you can start the questions.
Mr. Friction, were you present on that day?
Yeah, of course I was. Of course I was.
And what did you see?
Well, I was just there. I was trying to hold on to the mysterious box because there is some friction between the mysterious box and the surface, and I don't know what happened. The maximum effort that I could put in preventing the mysterious box from falling down was overcome, and then he started sliding down. The rest of the story you all know.
So at what was the magnitude at which you were holding the box, and what direction were you pulling in?
Oh God, can't you understand? The maximum value of friction is the maximum value that is possible between any two surfaces in contact. It doesn't depend upon the mass of the object. It doesn't depend on the surface area of contact. There is a maximum value. You can calculate that. I can give you my visiting card. The maximum amount of friction that is possible will be equal to the coefficient of static friction between those two surfaces multiplied by the normal reaction force. Oh yes, by the way, I forgot to tell you, normal reaction force was there.
You know. In what direction were you acting?
Of course, I always act in the direction opposite to the direction in which the object is trying to move. He was standing on a inclined plane, on a slope, for God's sake. So the direction that he would slide would be downward along the slope. So I was acting, let me finish my answer. I was acting opposite direction along the slope.
Last question. Did you see the force which was pulling the box away from you?
No, I couldn't see. I was pulling hard in the opposite direction. I was facing the other direction completely. So there was no way I could have seen that who the other force was.
Do you have any suspects?
No, I don't have any suspects.
You can go. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Sure.
We can't see forces anyways.
Okay, so we are done with friction also.
Sure, I sent you a message on chat. Please check
We
it.
can't see forces, but forces can see forces.
No, but the force was pulling in the opposite direction. He claims to have not seen anybody. Sorry, I can't see messages when I am
I think
on
he's
the
lying.
whiteboard. So unless it's something very urgent, you will have
Sir,
to
it's related to the whole investigation.
You'll have to just say it, man. Speak up.
Okay, sir. It was not like one person did not do the murder. It was a group murder. So,
how can you say for sure?
So because, like, example, let's just say that acceleration did it. Okay, so while the box was just standing there looking at the sunset, acceleration was not present, and then something happened, and that's when acceleration reacted.
Yeah.
So that's what made the box move. So something must have caused it, right?
So very good. So are you suggesting to me that therefore we can leave out acceleration and save some time in our investigation? Or does anybody feel we should bring in acceleration anyway and ask the relevant questions?
Sir, I don't think it's acceleration's fault. He was just doing his job, which was taking.
Because acceleration is a name to something, right? And that something is caused by someone. We should attack the someone.
Yeah. So the acceleration was just a cause of a force, an external unbalanced force acting on the object. It's not about fault, but just the question is that can we figure out something from acceleration? If acceleration is going to say the same things that we already figured out, then there doesn't seem to be. So we all agree that we don't need to question acceleration. Shall I strike off acceleration from this list of suspects?
Yeah, strike it off.
Okay. So, but
how do we find the other someone?
Wait. So there is only one guy left.
Gravity.
That's the big guy.
The big guy.
So it looks like we have exhausted all our options and there's only gravity left. So I think now we have no other go but to call gravity. But then we need somebody really clever to talk to gravity.
Sir, I'm just saying, this is my opinion. I think gravity is corrupt. Yeah. Because he let the ego get to his head and he became corrupt.
We are not looking into their psychological situation. All that comes much later.
I'm just saying, sir.
Whether they were psychologically
stop corrupting everybody, please.
He's corrupt.
Let's leave that line of reasoning. It has got no place right now in our investigation. Next, quick. I was asking who would like to question gravity?
I would like to.
Shiv.
Yeah.
Okay. So last
Group of
2 or 3 points before we bring gravity in.
2 or 3 people also can ask that guy.
Yeah, he's a big
Some other people can join in, but Shiv will be the principal investigator. So he's the one who's going to be asking the questions. Rest of us, we should try not to contradict Shiv. We should try to support him as best as we can. Right. Any other points?
Sir,
Yeah. Quick. Yeah.
sir, even I agree with Kailash that there are two forces. So, sir, I think one is the force that we don't know, the red one. And sir, I think there's another force which is perpendicular to the ground. So it won't be the pink, like it won't be, I'm not talking about the pink one, I'm talking about another one which will come. So, sir, since we learned like in adding vectors and everything, when you make the parallelogram like the to calculate it, it follows the same path that the box would have taken and crashed its death.
Yeah, the force has to act in the direction in which the box moved. So that's why we have this F shown in this direction. This is both showing the direction in which the force would have acted, but we do not know the magnitude of the force. So in order to know who this person is, we have to know both the direction and the magnitude. Right now, we only know that the direction was along the slope downward and the magnitude was greater than what friction could apply. But that's not enough. We still don't know the origin of this force. Why would some random force come and do this? So that we haven't got to yet. And the only force that we are left with so far is gravity. And yes, what you have suggested and what Ishan are saying in terms of like the parallelogram law of vectors. So that is a very important line of investigation. Okay. So we have this parallelo, is it double LO or one LO? Second time.
Singular.
Parallelogram law. Okay, so this is a very important point, but where does it become important, that we have to see. So Shiv, are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm warning you, this guy is a tough character.
So wait.
He's
Same questions, right?
If we come up with some other questions than Shiv has, like, and they're supporting Shiv.
After Shiv is done.
So after Shiv is done, you can ask me.
We didn't even make our own questions. Like we didn't do it like line of inquiry with the gravity.
Keep it relevant. Keep it relevant. He doesn't have time for nonsense. Okay, as an investigating officer, principal investigator, I am telling you, you can't waste this guy's time.
Yeah.
Okay, and we get only one shot at him. We can try calling him a second time, but we get only one shot at him. Let's go with that assumption. All right, I'm here.
Okay.
Hello, Mr. Gravity. So I have some questions for you.
Yes.
So were you present at the crime scene?
Was the crime scene on the surface of the earth?
Yes.
So I was present.
Okay. What did you see on the surface of the earth?
This guy just went down the slope and crashed to his death. It happens all the time. People jump off buildings and they fall and die. It happens all the time.
Okay. What was your magnitude?
My magnitude is mg. So the mass of the box, whatever it was, say it's m, multiplied by g. And if you want to know the details for it, g is equal to approximately 10 newtons per kilogram.
Okay. What was the direction you were acting in?
The direction in which I act, everybody knows the direction in which I act. I always act right towards the center of the earth. So the direction in which I act is always this.
Did you see anybody like during the crime scene around you?
Well, just the usual suspects. There was normal reaction force. I think you call it the support force. There was friction, but he was trying to prevent the object from sliding down. And since there was a normal reaction force, I suppose there was another force that was acting opposite to the normal reaction force. Otherwise, you see, there would have been an acceleration in that direction. And yeah, I suppose there must have been some force in this side. So I do not know who this force is, the one who was acting opposite to normal, nor did I recognize the force that was acting along the slope, pulling the object down. But I'm just saying the other ones that I know are normal reaction force and the frictional forces. The other two guys, I don't know.
Okay.
Anything else?
I'm done with my questions.
So gravity. So you're claiming that you had nothing, you had no role to play in this murder, right?
Are you claiming that I had some role to play on this?
I'm just asking, if you don't mind.
Well, you see, if you know your physics well, the direction in which the object was accelerating, maybe you should call acceleration and talk to him, is the direction along the slope. And as I told you, one of your detectives, the direction in which I act is always towards the center of the earth. So if I was pulling towards the center of the earth, why was the object sliding along the slope? It doesn't make any sense.
Okay, so you
Second law
claim that.
states.
Okay.
Sure, go ahead.
So you claim that you had no relation with the F force.
None that you can prove, at least.
And what if I can't prove it?
Well, go ahead and do that.
So basically, you might have heard there is something known as adding vectors, and there is something.
They are forces, so we do add up. Yep.
And there is something known as decomposing vectors, which is breaking a vector, which could be gravity, into two other or many other forces. What do you say on that?
Yes, I suppose I have to agree with you. If it is possible to add two vectors to make one resultant vector, it should be possible to break up a vector also into two other parts. But then what are you saying because of that? I agree with all this.
Now it's very interesting that if we add the F force and the force we have highlighted in pink, it makes gravity. The resultant vector is gravity.
No, sir, I'm afraid. You mean to say the F, the force, the perpetrator,
Yeah.
and then the force that was acting in the direction of the lilac or pink vector.
Yeah.
Well, you're saying that.
Yeah.
I don't have to buy it.
But we know our physics, and it is obvious that if we take the
Okay.
F force.
I don't know where this is going. I don't have time for all these things. I'm taking excuse. I have to leave now. If there is anything further that you want to talk, please speak to my lawyer. Okay. Gravity is gone. So now we are back with the investigating team. So it's very interesting. I think we can say that gravity got a little shaken up there.
Yeah.
We asked some-
Defensive.
Sorry?
He got very defensive.
Yes, gravity got defensive.
Yeah, very
And
defensive.
why did he get defensive, you think?
Probably had something to hide.
It had a relation with the pink force.
Yeah, but he denied any knowledge about the pink force to begin with. Then why did he become defensive? What could have been the reason?
Because he didn't expect that blow. He didn't expect us to make any relation with the pink and the red force with him.
Yeah, but why should he be afraid of that relationship? In the sense, you could have said that pink force had something to do with you.
He could have been an alibi.
He was hiding that he was involved with them.
Yeah, he was hiding that is
Yeah.
involved, and he could have continued
Yeah.
hiding.
Yep.
What about what was there in the line of questioning that could have made him uneasy?
Ishan, can you repeat everything you just said?
It was the pink force.
Oh, was it because when you break up vectors? So what is
Yeah.
related to his vector?
So basically, when he said, "Okay, when the if you see that the pink and red force when it adds up, you get the green,
Okay.
you get gravity."
Okay, I'll tell you what. If somebody is hiding, if somebody is lying, if he's not telling the truth, what is this person going to be afraid of?
Them getting closer to the truth.
Getting caught.
Getting caught, getting closer to the truth. In other words, he should be afraid of the truth.
Yeah.
And what is truth?
Was involved.
It's
The
what we want to
fact.
believe.
No, what we want to believe is, is not truth.
It should be like a fact.
Yeah,
No one can change it.
a truth is a fact, but then which no one can change,
Yeah, which no one can change.
right? So the truth is something that cannot be changed. No matter how you look at it, it cannot be changed. And what is the ultimate truth as far as knowledge is concerned? I mean, in the areas of study that you people do, what is something that is taken to be the
Laws?
ultimate truth? Huh?
Laws?
Yeah, but laws are based on what?
Investigations, I mean experiments and
Experiment, investigation, but eventually,
Ideas.
Nature.
Theories.
Formulas.
Newton?
no, ideas, theories, all of those things are a movement
Nature.
towards the truth.
Who's the one what is the factor that defines it a truth?
Okay,
That
so
is one.
let us just leave it at that.
Okay.
Anybody who's trying to hide is afraid of the truth. Okay, if the truth is revealed. And what are they afraid of in the truth? They are afraid of the fact that the truth is something that can be proven any way you look at it. Okay, and there is no way to refute what is the truth of the situation, right? If you jump off the third floor of a building, you're going to at least break your legs, do severe damage to yourself if you hit the floor. That is truth.
Yeah.
Okay, and you can't change it provided you don't change the conditions. You can't change it no matter what. Okay, so that is the nature of truth. It is irrefutable, and I think somewhere we got to the truth. But now then we have to start looking at Ishan. So Ishan, you will have to provide the rest of the information. What were you thinking of when we were questioning gravity?
Yeah, so in the second chapter, we learn about adding vectors.
Yeah.
So it's very interesting that if we add the pink vector and the red vector, we get gravity.
No, see, that is an assumption. Okay, what we know is that there is some force acting in this direction, and there was some force acting in this direction. And let's say, to sort of, okay, I'll put it like this. We do not know the magnitude of the force acting in this direction, and we do not know the magnitude, exactly, know the magnitude of the force in this direction. What you're saying is it possible that when we add this, the force F in this direction, and this force in this direction, then we get mg?
We get something in gravity's direction. We get a force in
gravity's
gravity's direction.
And what you are saying, so okay, so that sounds like a theory. Okay, it's an idea that you have got. Now, how do you prove that it is a fact?
Could you maybe draw an axis, x and y axis?
Yeah, that's a very good idea.
You actually add them up.
Yes, you actually have to add them up. So what are you doing when you actually add them up?
Parallelogram thing.
Well, at a very general level, you are doing mathematics.
Trigonometry.
You are using mathematics.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah, basically.
So the ultimate truth is using mathematics in physics. If you are able to mathematically prove that that is exactly what happened, then there is no
It can't
way,
be denied.
Yes, then the proof of burden goes on the other person, on the person who is the perpetrator, who is accused. He has to prove your maths wrong then. And with something like this, it is almost impossible to prove it wrong. Do you get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I drew the axis that I am interested in. Okay. So there is an x-axis which is down along the slope, and there is a y-axis that is acting perpendicular to the slope. So yes, Ishan, further.
Yeah. So like, should I decompose gravity or add pink one and red one?
I guess the challenge is to decompose gravity. We'll have to decompose gravity and prove that the resultant two forces that we get are going to be one opposite to normal reaction force and equal to that, and the
Yeah.
other side is going to be the force that is then going to overcome friction and then pull the object down. So yes.
Sir,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it has to be at the same level. It has to be at the same y point. Like if the end point of gravity is at, suppose, in the y-axis at some point, then the resultant vector, one of the resultant vector, will also have an end point at that specific point. So you can just make a line there.
So wait, I'm just
sir,
going
I
to.
didn't understand this decomposition vector.
Okay, so it works like this. Okay, you remember when we were studying vectors in an earlier class, we said that if you have two vectors, vector A and vector B, you can add these two vectors up by using something called as the parallelogram law,
Yeah.
right? I didn't get this side right, but forget about that. And you get a resultant vector like this.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the resultant vector. Similarly, you can also add up vectors which are at an angle to each other. Let's say this is C and this is D. So you can do this by drawing a parallel here, drawing a parallel here, and then your resultant vector is going to be this. Okay. Now, what prevents you? Is there anything that prevents you from, let us say, for example, taking the gravity over here and then trying to see if gravity can be the result of two vectors. So something like this. Okay. I'm not drawing the box and all that. I'm just going to draw the gravity. And I'm going to say, I know there was a force acting in this direction, and I know there was a force acting in this direction. Why? Because they are the
So
two
gravity
unknown.
is the resultant vector.
So the gravity can then be the resultant vector of two forces, which one was acting like this and the other was acting like this.
Sir, but how does this help us find the...
Yeah, it helps us to prove mathematically that one gravity can act in these two directions while seeming to act in the downward direction. Why is that happening? That's because the object is sitting on a slope.
Oh, okay, I got it.
So that is the theory that Ishan is trying to explain now. Yeah, Ishan, go ahead.
Yeah, so let's do the same thing with gravity in the green one.
Yeah.
So we need to make one force which is perpendicular to the ground and one which is parallel to the ground.
Perpendicular to the ground or perpendicular to the inclined plane?
Inclined plane, sorry. Yeah.
So carry on.
So we have the two reference dotted lines.
Yeah.
So we need something which is at the same level, inclined level as gravity. So that one can be the pink one.
Okay. So basically what you're saying is drop a perpendicular to this line.
Yeah.
So that becomes three sides of a parallelogram. And obviously if you drop a perpendicular from this side to this, then you get two vectors.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, if you fill in the gap that is there over here, that becomes your lilac vector. Okay. And out emerges our villain, the force that probably killed our mystery box.
That was
Of course, in this diagram, it looks as if the force is smaller compared to friction. But then friction simply said that I applied as much force as I can, and then it was overcome. So maybe friction wasn't, friction was just kind of trying to be brave and made himself to be much larger than he was. Friction was actually much smaller than that. So
Sir,
maybe only that much.
so basically the lilac and the red are both gravity, as in like the gravity, it can seem like it's acting there, but it can act either ways.
Yeah, so psychologically, what would you call gravity then? Psychologically.
Oh.
Two-faced.
confused.
Split.
Yeah.
Split
Split
personality.
personality.
Sir,
I got the
you made
spelling
a
wrong again.
Wrong spelling.
Personality.
Sir, I have a question. Sir, so
Okay. So it's just to finish that point. So therefore, gravity could be actually innocent in a way, not knowing what is going on. Maybe he knew, maybe he didn't know. But like I said before, that's not for us. As an investigative agency, what we have to prove
he is corrupt.
gravity is the one who did
Yeah.
whatever happened over there. And then the rest is
Resulted
up to the
to
courts and the lawyers and so on. Yes, now
Sir.
your questions and doubts.
I have a question, sir.
Yeah.
So the normal reaction force and mg. So did they produce the F, the red F?
Exactly. Yes. See, because mg is a single force, right? So if you split the force into two components, then obviously it's only at 45 degrees will the two components be equal. Correct? You remember that?
Yeah, sir.
Yeah. So if these two components, what am I saying? 45 degrees. How can I say this? Yeah, at 45 degrees, correct. If this angle is 45 degrees, only then you will get these two components to be exactly the same, right? So if the angle were higher and higher, and mind you, that angle, the angle between these two is the same as the angle between this angle of the slope. You can work that out through geometry.
Angle between which two?
The
Isn't
angle,
it the angle between the pink one and the NMG?
you may be right. Sometimes I make a mistake on that of that kind. This is the slope. Wait, I usually do it like this. So if I keep this, then I know
So
that.
then, but shouldn't both angles be the same?
Yeah, you're right. You're right. No, they won't be same. If it is the same, then that is only possible at 45 degrees. So it is this angle. The angle between the
Ah, that's
pink
right.
one and the MG is
Yeah.
the same as the angle of the slope. But that's a different matter. We don't need to go into that. So
Oh
what was
yeah,
the
that's
question?
Sir,
the angle. There's a rule.
So as the slope increases, you will find that the normal reaction force will reduce and the F will increase. As the slope decreases, the normal reaction force will, this force will increase and the force will keep decreasing.
Sir, there are many raised hands in your participants box.
Okay. So can we now then, in that case, look at who people are who are asking the question. So let me just wind up the discussion. Then people can stay back because we have only about a couple of minutes left. So I think that mathematically we have cracked the problem. Okay, and we have used the most logical manner that is possible by using applied mathematics. And when we use mathematics, it's as tight as a case can ever be fought. Okay, so we are saying that we can now, if you tell us the weight of the box, we can calculate and tell you what is mg, obviously. But we can also tell you, once we study the angle of the inclined plane, which is easy, we just have to go and measure it. Then we can say what was the value of this lilac force. We can call that the mg acting in the direction of y. Okay, and this force over here now, the red one, will therefore be mg acting in the direction of x. And what we are saying is that, to show it independently over here, mg y and mg x, if we add the two up algebraically, mg y plus mg x, so if we add them as vectors, then what are we going to get? We are going to get mg. So therefore, case solved, and we can submit our file, and mg will have to answer for himself or herself in court. So with that, we come to the end of this session. Thank you for your cooperation. Those who have further questions can stay behind, others are free to leave.